everybody, and welcome back to liable Zest. Those of you who are new here, welcome to my channel, and those returning, it is good to see you back. Today we are going to be doing a Pilates for beginners workout. So if you are new to Pilates, you are in the right place. We are going to be starting with a little bit of a mobility flow and progress into some really light activations to get you into your new Pilates practice. Let's start in the center of our mat. I want you lying down on your left hand sides with your hands out in front of you. You're going to place your knees in line with your hips and your ankles in line with those knees, creating a 90-degree angle in your hips and in those knees. And we're just going to start with a light stretch and rotation into that spine. So we're lifting that right arm up towards the ceiling and then drawing that shoulder all the way down towards the other side, following your hand with your eyes and slowly inhaling back. The key in this movement is just to make sure that you're rotating at the level of the spine and the waist. Those hips are staying forward as you really focus on rotating those shoulders back towards the floor, that right shoulder. And let's do two more. We're exhaling on the way across and inhaling as we come back to center, and you should feel a beautiful stretch going all the way down the side of that back. We're going to hold in this position now, just drawing that shoulder towards the mat as you draw that upper hip towards the wall in front of you, really focusing on rotating that neck as well. And let's just fall into the stretch, allowing that body just to release and relax, and inhaling and exhaling. If you are really new to Pilates, I strongly recommend that you watch my video on how to activate your core, just to make sure that you are getting that deep and quality activation. Let's slowly draw that right arm up towards the side, keeping it on the floor as you rotate your arm up and overhead and all the way back towards that starting point. Let's slowly lift ourselves all the way back up, and we're going to do that same thing on the other side, turning onto the right hand side as you rest your arms on the floor 90 degrees in those hips and ankles, and we're lifting that left arm up towards the sky and rotating it all the way across towards the floor. And you'll find that as you progress with this exercise, your last few will be a lot easier to perform as compared to your first few. And that's just your body getting into the rhythm, getting into that flow. So really just allow that body to loosen up and fall into that flow. And just on each movement, just try to go a little bit further than that last one. Opening that chest, drawing that hip forward as you draw the shoulders towards the floor. You're almost trying to create a perfect T with those arms. And let's hold here. And let's take deep breaths in as we draw that arm along the floor, lifting it up, bringing that arm towards that ear, and then slowly reaching around and across back to starting point. Let's slowly lift ourselves up into a seated position. You can either sit in a crisscross position, or you can tuck that left foot around and behind you. We're going to just do a few shoulder rolls, rolling those shoulders in big circles towards the wall behind you. And as we're doing this, we're just taking those deep inhales and exhaling. And let's change direction, just drawing those shoulders round and forward, just loosening up all the joints in that body before we progress. Let's draw our hands towards our sides, lifting that right arm up towards the sky as you lean your body right over towards that left hand side. And I want you to try and just reach, keeping those shoulders square. You're reaching that arm up and over towards the wall as you draw your right glute into the ground. And let's take a deep inhale, just staying in this motion and slowly reaching that right arm towards the opposite left corner and slowly allowing that left arm to follow as you reach towards the opposite right corner and then opening that shoulder, that left shoulder towards the sky as you reach that left arm up and over towards that right wall next to you. And again, drawing that left glute into the ground as you're working. Very, very important to allow your muscles to stretch out and loosen up before we can engage in those activations. You want to have quality activations, and if you have any form of restriction into that body, you will struggle to truly engage those muscles. And slowly reaching forward and placing that right arm onto the mat as you extend that left arm up and overhead. And slowly coming back up into seated. We're going to just, if you had your knees tucked in like I did, we're just going to change over and doing that same thing. We're going to reach that left arm up and over as you reach towards the right wall. And again, you should feel a little stretch into that groin area or wherever your body is feeling tight. And if you just stayed in that crisscross position, just continue truly embracing this light flow, allowing that body to stretch out, reaching that right arm overhead as you stack those shoulders and hips, reaching as far as you can, extending towards that opposite left corner, allowing that left hand to follow as you reach towards that opposite right corner and extending that arm up and overhead. Very nice. Let's keep going and slowly coming back to center. We're going to turn into a seated position in the center of the mat. We're going to extend those legs out in front of us. And wherever you feel comfortable, you can either keep your knees bent or you can extend your legs. I want you to try and get that straight back, placing arms out in front of you. Palms are facing each other. We're going to take a deep inhale. And as we're exhaling, we're tucking in that chin, head, neck, all the way towards your chest, and then drawing that chest towards your knees. And again, you might find your first one quite stiff and tight, but we're going to do quite a few of these. So as you continue with the movement, you'll find that each one gets easier each time. You're really just focusing on allowing that spine to stretch. So you're rolling and rounding that spine, but you might also find a deep stretch into those hamstrings. And reaching forward. And on each rep, let's try to get a little bit further. And you can see my back as I'm tucking in my chin. I'm rounding that spine, reaching forward and extending, and then rolling yourself back up to stack that vertebra. And let's do two more. We're taking a deep inhale and exhaling, tucking in that chin, head, neck, and chest, reaching forward. And slowly coming back up. And let's do our final one. We're going to hold there. Let's take a deep inhale. Exhale, tucking in head, neck, and chest all the way towards those toes. Let's push those knees into the ground if we can, flexing those ankles, toes to ceiling. And let's take a deep inhale and reach a little bit further. And slowly coming back up to stack that vertebra. We're going to bend those knees, lengthening that spine. I want you to place your hands on your shins, and we're going to activate and engage that core, sucking in that pelvic floor, drawing belly to spine, trying to keep this straight back by engaging those back muscles, engaging those core muscles. We're going to lengthen those spines, and we're going to extend arms into T-point, and we're just going to hold here. Deep inhales and exhale. You should be really working hard just to keep that posture Want you feeling it in your back and in your core. Just make sure that those knees aren't falling out, that you want them nice and tucked in towards that center, and your ankles are about a fist width apart from one another. Let's take deep inhale, exhale, bringing arms to ceiling. Inhale slowly back to center, and I want those palms facing towards the sky when you're in that T-point. And exhale up. Inhale back to T-point. Exhale, center. Inhale, back to T-point. And let's do 2 more. Let's keep working. And coming back to center. Now I want your palms facing the wall in front of you. You're going to do that same thing towards the front of you. Exhale, down. Inhale, back to center. You should be feeling a beautiful burn into that core and into that back. Let's keep working, keeping our breath with the rhythm of our movements. You want to align that breath to taking deep inhales and exhale as you move. And last one, bringing arms up towards the sky, reaching them towards T-point, and then around and hugging those knees to chest. Let's just do a few neck rotations from left to right, just to loosen up. And let's extend our legs out in front of us, a slight bend in those knees, and we're slowly going to walk our arms down the back of our knees and legs so that we can lie down in a supine position. We're going to activate that tummy. I want you to try and make sure that your lower lumbar curve is in a neutral position. You don't want to tuck that pelvis in too much, and you don't want to tilt it too much. You just want that happy medium. Let's engage that tummy. So sucking in belly to spine, sucking in that pelvic floor. Let's take a deep inhale and exhale, lifting right leg up into tabletop. And we're slowly going to, on that exhale, toe tap, then back up. And while you're doing that, I want you to really focus on engaging that left hamstring. So by doing that, you're pushing that left heel into the ground and drawing that heel towards your glutes. So it's not actually moving, but you really are envisioning that heel really coming towards that glute as you do your toe taps with that right knee. And just if you want a little bit more of a challenge, you can lift those arms up towards the sky. Let's keep engaging, working really hard to keep that pelvis in that neutral position as you toe tap. And let's do one more. Keeping that leg up. We're going to drop arm to T-point and then back to center into a light little crunch for 5 counts. That's 1. Keeping that right knee in that tabletop. 2. And 3. And 4. Last one before we change over to the other side. And 5. Dropping arms to sides, dropping right leg down, deep breath in, exhale, left leg up into that tabletop. Let's inhale. I want you to really work hard. Even though this is a simple workout, you should be feeling it into those lower abdominals. So if you aren't, then just try slow down and really focus on engaging into that core. Let's take a deep breath in, exhale, left leg toe tap and back up. And you'll find that as your leg goes down, that pelvis almost does a slight little tilt forward. So really engage in that tummy to make sure that it doesn't tilt in any direction. It stays stable. And keep going. We're going to progress this exercise, sucking belly to spine and engaging that tummy. And inhale, center, exhale, toe tap. Remember to draw that right heel towards that glute so you can engage that right hamstring as you're working. So even though it's a small, simple movement, you should be really feeling it in all muscles of that body, and lifting that leg back up. Deep breath in, exhale, arm to T-point, then back to center. And that's 2, keeping that core tight. Focus on that engagement. If you're not feeling anything, try to tilt that pelvis and draw belly to spine. I'm really feeling a beautiful burn into that core. You're really imagining like you're sucking it all the way towards that spine. And last one, dropping that left leg down, arms to T-point, and just rocking those knees from left to right. And coming back to center, arms on your sides. We're going to lift right leg up, then left leg up, and we are going to place both hands on each knee. And I want you to draw your knees towards your chest, but as you're doing so, you are resisting with your arms. So you are imagining like your knees on your hands are in an argument and they're pushing away from each other. We're just going to hold here. Deep breaths in and exhale. And inhale and exhale. Let's go for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bringing arms up to center, going straight into our leg changes. Deep breath in, exhale, right leg toe tap, and switch. And switch, keeping that core tight. You're just alternating, doing a little toe tap. And as you do that toe tap, you're keeping that 90 degrees in that knee. Let's keep going. And left, and right, and left, and right, and last one on each leg. And coming back to center, I want you to place that right ankle on that left knee, and then you're interlacing your hands around the back of that left knee as you draw that knee towards your chest. You should be getting a beautiful stretch into that right glute. Keep holding. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Changing over, left ankle on right knee and drawing that right knee towards your chest. Deep breaths. And holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Placing both feet back on the mat. We're going to go into our pelvic curls. Hands on our sides. We are going to take a deep breath and progress into our pelvic curls. And let's inhale, and on that exhale, we are rolling that spine 1 vertebra at a time, drawing those hips to ceiling. In this position, I want you to draw that last rib towards the mat as you focus on drawing those hips up towards the sky. Deep breath in, exhale, slowly rolling down. We're going to do 6 of these. So I want you to do slow and controlled. And as we do them, I want you to really engage those glutes, engage those hamstrings, engage that core, and really think about where you should be feeling this. So if you aren't feeling it anywhere, go a little bit slower. Activate that tummy so that you can lift that pubic bone towards your chin, tucking in, and then engaging those glutes as you lift that pelvis off the floor 1 vertebra at a time, and then digging those heels into the ground and imagining them again coming towards those glutes to activate and engage those hamstrings and those inner thighs. Let's do 3 more. Inhaling to pause, exhaling all the way back up. Squeezing, 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 sucking in that pelvic floor. And slowly coming back down. And let's do our final one. We're going to stay in the air, rolling up, 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 digging those heels into the ground, squeezing those glutes. And we're just going to do little pulsations. Let's bring those arms up towards the ceiling. And let's go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lifting up and slowly rolling yourself back to starting point. We're going to extend left leg onto the mat as you lift right leg up into tabletop and extending it up towards the sky, placing your hands behind the back of that right knee as you draw that knee to chest. And let's hold. Deep breaths, just allow those hamstrings that you just used to stretch out. And if you can't quite get a straight leg, it's okay. You can bend that knee slightly as long as you're getting a stretch into the back of that leg. Let's point those toes towards your nose just to intensify that stretch. Slowly dropping that leg down and extending it onto the mat as you lift that left leg into tabletop, extending it up towards the sky, placing both hands behind the back of your left knee, drawing that knee towards the chest. And now pointing toes to nose. And let's hold for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly extending both legs onto the mat, bringing arms overhead as you take a deep inhale, exhaling, lifting yourself all the way back up into seated. Thanks for joining me on the mat today. I hope that it was a perfect introduction to Pilates for you. If you're wanting to see more videos and if you are wanting more, then head over to my channel and you'll find a variety of different types of workouts that will be suited for you. Looking very forward to seeing you in the next video. See you soon.